Hello class. Today, to start off the lesson, first we're going to look at this picture. As you can see in the picture, there are pictures of bees, and they are going up to flowers. These are the flowers, and these are the bees. What do you think the bees are doing? You can think about this in your head, or you can raise your hand and let me know what you think. These bees were doing what is called pollination. This is how insects help plants to make seeds. Pollen is usually in the middle of the flower. Insects take pollen between flowering plants of the same type. The pollen fertilizes egg cells to make seeds. So a bee will go to one flower, let's say a rose, and it will fly to another flower, probably a different rose, and the pollen that it picks up on its legs will transfer from one rose to the other. The bright colors and smell of that flower tell me that it's got the sugary nectar I love to eat and the pollen I feed to my kids. So this bee is saying that it can eat the nectar from the pollen and it feeds it to its kids. That is how flowers help bees a lot. While eating at this flower, some of the pollen has rubbed off on me by accident. So as you can see, the bee has some little yellow dots on it. This is the pollen that it's picking up from the flower. At this other flower, the pollen from the first flower will fertilize the egg cells to make seeds. So excuse me, the pollen enters the top of the flower, and that is the little yellow stuff here. And it goes down until the cells and the pollen come together and they make seeds. Other types of pollination, it's not only insects that pollinate flowers. Birds, bats, and the wind can also take pollen between plants. Pollination is important for humans as well. No pollination means not as many plants to use as food, clothing, shelter, and other things. Now we will look at this second picture. What do you think this bird has in its mouth? You can think about this question in your head, or you can raise your hand and let me know the answer. This bird has a seed in its mouth. What do you think the bird is going to do with this seed? So the next thing we're going to talk about is how seeds get moved around in nature. They can be dropped from a flower. The wind can pick them up and move them. They can travel through the water. Or animals can take them and move them as well. The wind. Seeds moved by wind are very light in weight. Some flowers have what is called parachutes on top of some seeds, like dandelion seeds, which is what's in the first picture. Some seeds are very small and light, also like dust. Orchid seeds and poppy seeds are like that. This flower down here is a poppy, and here are the seeds right in the middle, the black things. Poppy seeds are inside a little capsule that has little openings around the top. On a windy day, the poppy fruit capsule will sway from side to side, shaking out the tiny seeds, like a salt shaker. So this first picture is of a dandelion, and all of the white things, those are the seeds. You would think that they're not because they don't really look like seeds, but they are. And the seeds on the poppy are around the center. Explosion. Some fruits can throw their seeds away when they are ripe. Pea pods, like in the picture on the right, often use this method. When the seeds are ready, the pod dries up. When the pod dries up, the inside of the pod dries faster than the outside. This makes the pod twist inside, suddenly splitting open. When this roll happens, it makes the seeds fly out of the pod in all directions. Water. A good example is the water lily, which is like on the picture on the right. Water lilies' beautiful flowers create a fruit that floats in the water for some time, and then sinks to the bottom to take root on the floor of a pond. The seeds of the water lily can be dispersed and grown in the water. The palm tree, which grows near the water, also disperses its seeds by water. Powerful ocean currents that connect continents move the palm tree's seeds, called coconuts, to their new home. How many of you didn't know that coconuts were seeds? Most nuts, like acorns, walnuts, and pecans, are dispersed by both water and animals. The main way that they are dispersed by water is during flood times, or if their plants grow near a river or stream. Animals. One way for animals to help in seed dispersal is for the animals to actually plant the seeds themselves. Animals, like mice, squirrels, and jaybirds, collect fruits and nuts during the spring and summer, and they store them for the coming winter. Many times, they save up these fruits and nuts by burying them in the ground, often more than they need. When they come to take their fruits and nuts away, they leave a few buried. The ones that are left buried become plants. So the squirrel on the right is burying a acorn probably, or some other kind of nut. Seeds are often dispersed in droppings. Animals swallow fruit, including seeds. They digest the soft fruit, but the seeds come out in their droppings. Now we are going to do an activity. On your desk, you have a paper bag, a flower, and a bee. You need to glue your flower on the front of the bag. Then, you're going to put some Cheetos in your bag. You can decorate your bee finger puppet. And what you're going to do is, you're going to put it on your fingers, and you're going to fly over to your flower and grab some Cheetos. You can snack on your Cheetos, but be sure not to lick your fingers because you're going to use those fingers again later. You can do this over and over again, fly to different flowers and take some Cheetos and eat them. And then, after a certain amount of time, you're going to fly your bee over to a friend's flower and touch the center. Afterwards, we're going to discuss why we kind of did this activity and what it shows and what we kind of learned from it. This is my pollination and seed dispersing presentation. This was for second grade. Thank you.